Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to another episode of the Goodcast Show. So today I am super excited. I have a champion amidst as a guest. This is really awesome, guys. Very honored to have her on board. But before I bring her on and introduce her, just a bit of an introduction to who this lady is. She in 2018 she was crowned the British Junior Open champion. In 2018 she made history when she became the youngest women national champion by defeating Lo Wei Wen in the 34th National Squash Championships. Then in 2022, she won the College Squash Association CSA National Collegiate Individual Championships to clinch her first individual title for Cornell University. That's right, this girl's Ivy League too. That's amazing. And then after that, she returned from a career-threatening traffic accident that unfortunately ruled her out of the Commonwealth Games, which I'm sure should have won gold anyway. And to go on to the 2022 Hangzhou Asian Games to win 2 gold medals and be ranked world number 13. And recently, of course, she made headlines and made history once again by winning the Gillen Markets London Classic Squash Classics. She is a tough competitor and she's a definite future number one. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Ms. Sivasangari. How are you, ma'am? How are you doing?
Hi, I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Thank you so much for coming on. I'm really honored to have you on. I'm a big fan. And it's really great to see your eyes. So I want to start from the beginning. I'm a sports enthusiast, so I love to read, especially for athletes, how they get into a certain sport, how they start. So how did you get into squash?
So I actually before squash, I picked up a couple other sports as well, like swimming, badminton, taekwondo, and stuff. So I have a brother, and
Okay.
I we always go for all these activities together, and then somehow through our primary school, we got selected to go for like identification talent. I'm based in I my hometown's Kedah, so
Yeah.
me and my brother went for that program, and actually I didn't get selected. Only my brother got selected, but somehow I just always followed him and just tried to be part of it, and yeah, somehow I got into the sport, and yeah, here I am.
So where is he now? Is
He's
he
actually
also
now
part
working. He's finished his squash. He went to college, and now he's just working. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Nice. So you were saying that you actually graduated from Cornell University. So again, what did you graduate in?
I did communication and business.
Oh, nice. And why Cornell? How did you end up there? I mean, that's amazing,
Actually,
by the way. I mean, Ivy League, yeah.
yeah. Obviously, I think I didn't wanted to actually leave home. I didn't want to leave Malaysia for, university. I told my parents I'll do a degree back home. My parents always wanted me to get a degree at least. But yeah, somehow my dad connected me to a couple of these schools in the US, and they give good scholarship for athletes and stuff. And then I still didn't want to go. I was very hesitant. And then yeah, Cornell had like a very good squash coach. He's from Australia, and he used to be the world number one, David Palmer. So I always believe for me, I need a good coach in order to be at my best. And I think the main reason, obviously, it's an Ivy League school, but also like they had a really good coach, so that's the reason I chose Cornell.
Okay, nice. Congratulations on all your success. But being an athlete and being someone who watches a lot of sports as well, one of the key things I've realized is that it's not as much. I wouldn't say it's equal, but it's more of a mental game. And please correct me if I'm wrong, because you're the champion, not me. I play for fun. But about you, when I see you play, there's a very behind the smiles and the happiness, the joy. There's a very ice cold kind of that, like I think the best way to say it would be like you have this whole entire killer instinct that I
Yeah,
see, especially in the last game, and you never give up, right? Because even the last game, there were times when a lot of people thought that you won't win, but you did eventually because of the scoring, right?
yeah.
So how do you develop that entire mental strength that basically carries you on?
Yeah, I think obviously when I was younger, I didn't really believe in all like, mental strength, and you need to work on your mental game, because that's something you don't see. Like as an outsider, even when I was young, I was not mature. I was like, why do I need to work on that? Like I always, I'm a hard worker, and I always put in a lot of work physically in my squash. But like as I grew older and entered the professional tour, and as I was playing more tournaments, like last August, I worked with a psychologist. His name is Jesse, and yeah, ever since then, like it's been going great. I think it's been working well, and it is a very important part. Actually, I think a lot of people outsiders don't see it not just me, like all athletes in general, they don't see what we go through behind the scenes. And you have to be mentally very strong, not just in tournaments, even in training. And a lot of external factors can affect us, and we need to try to put that aside and try to just focus on what we need to do.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Now, in terms of training, since you talk about training as well, that's a nice segue to this. What sort of training do you put yourself under to reach that level that you are at now?
Yeah, so I usually do like 2 to 3 sessions each day, depending, during the week and how when my tournaments are and stuff like that. Obviously, closer to tournaments, I don't do as crazy. Like I try to still have high intensity, but not super long sessions. But yeah, generally it's like I train 6 days a week, twice to 3 times a day, and yeah,
Three
mostly
times a day.
yeah.
My
So
goodness.
like I go to gym one time, and then the other 2 sessions are on squash court. So mostly it's just you're working physically, but again, the mental part we tend to sometimes put it aside, but it is very important, So yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. So it takes a lot of commitment into and focus into what you're doing, right? So is is it like those stories that you hear where there's no time for other aspects in your life, like maybe a social life or something? Do you have to sacrifice a lot to get to where you are?
Yeah, I think we need to sacrifice a lot, because I guess if you're being an athlete, it's more self discipline, and it's the willpower of what you want to do. If you want to really achieve your dreams, you need to sacrifice a lot of things. Like for me, now I'm based in the US, but if you give me a chance, I would love to be home. My family's all back home, my friends are back home. So but it's something I know. I like this place for squash. Like I like to train here. I feel more calm, more peaceful. So it's a better environment for me. But there's a lot of things behind that I'm sacrificing as well. So yeah.
Nice. Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, yeah, I can see that. So, so when you won that whole London Championships, right? How was the response from your family like back home?
Yeah, I mean it was great. Like I don't think anyone really expected me to win. Like obviously my
Yeah, and
family
plus you
know.
beat world number 4, world number 2, and world number 1, right? That's amazing. I don't know how you're number 13. You should be 1 now. Get off the
I
rankings.
mean I mean, even I can't believe what happened that week. But yeah, my parents know I work really hard. My parents have always seen me, even when I'm back home. Like I'm all the time out of home training. Like even we have family functions or something to attend, I'll just say like, no, you guys can go. Like I have things to do and stuff like that. So they know I really want to do this, and they've helped me out a lot during my journey from young. And yeah, without the support, I I will not be here, and I'm pretty sure like this win is definitely dedicated to them as well.
Nice, nice. And, of course, when we talk about squash in Malaysia, another name that pops up is, of course, Dato Nicole David, right? That name is there. And people have sort of drawn comparisons between the both of you all, which they will.
Yeah.
The age old argument, like who's better, Pele or Maradona, Messi or Ronaldo, and now you or Dato Nicole David. So, but I like what she said and even what you said. Basically, both of you all want each other to basically want you to basically make your own lane, right? Find your own space. So, how big of an influence has she been on your career?
I think growing up, obviously, I look up to her a lot. Like, I think ever since I started squash, she was already like the world champion. Like, she's
Mm.
been winning a lot of titles, a lot of tournaments. So, I've always looked up to her. I think the first time we traveled together was maybe 2016, I would say, for the World Women's Championship, and I had to actually stay a room with her, which was crazy because it's my I was still very young, and like something of I've always wanted to. I always wanted to travel with her because she's the legend of the game. So it's great. Like even now, like what she said, like like everyone's unique in their own way. Obviously, whatever she's
Mm.
achieved is crazy. Like she set the bar really high, and for me to even achieve half of what she's achieved, I don't even know if I can do it. But again, like everyone's different. Everyone have their own path, and like I think what she's done is amazing. And yeah, I hope to somehow again achieve even half of what she's done. Yeah.
So wait, hold on. You were roommates with her?
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you have anything to spill? An
No,
exclusive on certain
I
bad
was too
habits of
young.
Dato Nicole?
I was too young, so I didn't really I had nothing much. Yeah.
So, like in your career now, I mean, you definitely have a plan. I mean, I've even talking about you, it's pretty clear that you know what you want and you'll definitely go get it. So, but what is your plan for the future now?
Yeah, obviously I still want to continue playing. I have still small goals to achieve along the way, but obviously the main big goals, to get to the Olympics, since squash is now in the Olympics in LA 2028. So that's the ultimate goal for me, and I think a lot of the squash players that wants to qualify and win. So yeah, that's I for now I just want to try and improve my ranking, break to the top 10, slowly climb up the ranking, and yeah, eventually, hopefully, can win a gold medal in Olympics.
So that's it. So 2028, Malaysia is going to have our first holiday thanks to our first Olympic gold medal. Done
I mean,
deal.
hopefully, we'll have one this year, and then hopefully,
Hopefully, yeah, hopefully this year.
hopefully, yeah.
Yeah. So now I want to go back to a very interesting part of your journey where, of course, it was well documented about your accident. You even spoke about it in an interview online, which I saw. Now, what must have been your frame of mind at that point when you yourself said that you thought you won't come back to squash?
Yeah, it was tough, right? Like these are things that I can't control, and again, I think I've mentioned a lot of the interviews. For me, I believe everything happens for a reason. You know, that time was super hard. There's a lot of I missed the com games because of the accident. I was a flag bearer as well, and there was a lot going on in my head during that time. But for me, I just want to be healthy first, right? Like squash is there. I want to still play, but if I can't get my health back, that's going to be tough, right? So
Mm,
I was just happy that I slowly recovered and I was healthy. It's just more of the rehab and the injury and stuff. So it was very tough. I think in the beginning I was doubting myself a lot, and I think yeah, in the beginning I wasn't even thinking of squash, and then slowly I got back to rehab and started working with my physio and like started talking to my coaches of what I need to do and stuff like that, and somehow got better and better. And yeah, I mean, I played, started my first tournament. Actually, I played for Cornell in January. That was my first tournament
mm.
back after the accident. Even then, I wasn't feeling 100%. I was probably only like 40 to 50%. But yeah, but I still needed to play for college. That was my last semester. But yeah, I'm here now.
Yeah, nice, nice. And we are all so proud of your rise from that. I mean, it must have been scary. It must have been really scary, right? Okay, so let's take a breather from squash and talk about you. Everything about Miss Sivasangari online is about squash. So let's get to know you a bit better. So when you're not holding the squash racket, when you're not training 3 times a day, what do you do?
Oh damn, this is a tough question. Obviously, when I'm back home,
This is a tough one.
this is a tough one. This is a tough one. I think obviously when I'm back home, I tend to spend a lot of my time with my family, my friends. I try to go out a bit more. I'm always I get tired really easily, obviously because I'm training and like I get
Mm,
very sleepy and stuff. But I think when I'm away, when I'm alone here, I obviously I have a couple of friends here, but not as close as back home. So I
obviously, yeah.
tend to yeah, take my space. I like to be alone as well, so Netflix a bit and chill. But nothing much. Yeah,
Nothing much, yeah.
nothing interesting.
Yeah, no worries. No, yeah, but that's pretty much expected, right? Since you're training 3 times a day, that's
Yeah.
crazy. Now, I have a question. Why do you feel that? I mean, why have you chosen to train in the US as compared to train here?
Um, I think slow like for me, when I moved to the US, I obviously before that I was training in Malaysia the whole time, and it's whenever I come home, I still train my coach back home when the national team and all this. It's not like I hate them or I'm not. I still come back and train with them, but I think with me, I prefer to be alone. I prefer to stay away from distractions and all these things. And I think Malaysia, there's a bit more distraction for me, and
Mm.
I don't if I mean, sometimes I think I like to go home to hang out with friends and stuff, but I think it's better for me to stay away and have a peaceful environment here. It's quiet. I live in a very small city here, so it's quiet. I don't have the city life going on, so it's great. I think it's great for my squash.
So you can just focus on your
Yeah,
squash then.
yeah.
Interesting. Honestly, it's crazy. Okay, obviously every child had a dream to play either one sport or the other. For me, it was obviously football. I was a big football fan. Now I love, so but the amount of sacrifice it takes, it's really it sounds pretty daunting. Like you
Yeah,
really have to just angle your life to one thing,
yeah,
right? Sounds like
yeah.
that. My God. Yeah. So now that you are there, I mean, like in what is your next tournament now?
I am playing a tournament in Egypt next week.
Egypt.
Yeah,
Next week.
yeah.
Okay, so all right, cool, cool. Now, in terms of because we've heard that I think it was a few days ago, I heard a clip from our sports minister who also mentioned you.
Mm.
She said, now she has people like you who is on her roster, so that I mean, that has the potential of bringing gold for Malaysia, right? So, in terms of the upcoming squash starlets who want to achieve your success as well, what do you think they should be doing from now?
I think again, I believe hard work beats talent. No matter how talented you are, if you're not putting in the work day in day out, it's tough to get there. Like you will
Mm,
achieve certain goals you want to, but not all because yeah, how talented can you be? The moment you reach a professional level, everyone has talent anyways. It what makes the difference. Someone who's going to push hard and try to give their all during training, so that you can do that in a match as well. And also for me, I think you just got to enjoy the process. You can't put too much pressure on yourself, or don't get don't think squash is only your life. There's a lot more to life as well. That's why I say enjoy it, but don't reach a point where you hate squash or like hate any sport because you're putting too much pressure on yourself.
but then again, that's an interesting statement that you made. I mean, how do you not put so much pressure on yourself when like you want to go into the Olympics, you want to win gold. I mean, how do you deal with all that pressure that you put on yourself?
Yeah, again, that's the mental aspect of the game. I think it's a tough it's you have to balance it out. Obviously it's tough to balance out all the time. Obviously sometimes I put too much pressure on myself and I don't like what I'm doing, and things like that, but that's when I know I'm not performing. So when I try to just enjoy myself, and again, as I said, like squash is not going to be everything in your life, right? You have a lot more other
Mm.
things to look at, a lot of other things to be grateful for. And yeah, just take it as one part of your life. Obviously you still got to put in the work, but just try to not put as much pressure and yeah.
How I mean, when I was looking at your record, obviously, like any sports person, even whoever it may be, right? You've not won. I mean, you've won you won the two golds at the Asian Championships, and then this one, among others, before. But how do you deal with defeat?
Hmm. It's tough. Like I normally take a day or two to really, I tend to isolate myself, and obviously for me, if I played well and lose, I still can accept it. I'll try to go back and review the match, or like because it's sometimes it's also depends on who does better on that day. Like you can play your best squash, then somehow your opponent is playing way better than you. That's out of your control
Mm,
as well, right? So but the tough ones are where you put in so much of work and then you just go out there and you're not playing, you're not enjoying it, and you perform really bad. And I think those are the losses where it's always tough to accept, because you also, like, I'm on season, so whenever you lose a match, like in 2 weeks time you have another tournament coming up, so
mm,
you can't
mm.
just like be down for a week and then so somehow I try to just suck it in and like go and play again, like, because it's not the end of the world. You still have a couple more tournaments coming up anyway, so I
Yeah.
think that's how I handle my loss.
Okay. Wow. Interesting. I'm sure that that's helpful to a lot of people coming up now. Now, how young did you start squash again?
I think when I was 8,
8 years
7
old.
or 8,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, that's good. I have plans to enroll my daughter into badminton, so I'm asking that actually.
Oh, badminton, that's a tough
Yeah,
one.
yeah. Because you
Badminton or
don't have a
squash,
good Sorry?
you need to choose badminton or squash.
No, no, but because I'm 6 feet 9, so she's tall.
Oh, okay.
So and Malaysia doesn't have very good. I mean, I don't want to say this, but not the best female singles players. So I have one eye on that. Yeah, yeah. So now that you are there in the US, how how tough is it, like being away from your family and friends here?
I think when I was in college, it was different because I always had work to do. I always had to go for classes. I'm meeting up with some of my teammates and squash mates and stuff like that. So it wasn't too bad. Like obviously, I come back like twice a year during the summer and winter. But I guess now it's different because I'm playing full time and I'm not attending classes or I'm not doing any assignments and things like that, which is good. Like it feels very free.
That's
But
great.
at the same time, it's like I have family back home. Like, what am I doing here, right? Like, it's tough, especially now. I think I'm feeling it because this is my first year really going pro without college and stuff. So it's been tough, but I try to find time to go home in between tournaments at times, or sometimes I go back during summer as well. But so far, like I think I'm used to it now, but I wouldn't say I'm really used to it as well. So at times
Mm.
I get very homesick, but yeah, I just try to focus on what my goals are, So
I again, I don't know whether this is the most appropriate question to ask you, but it's always been on the back of my mind as somebody who watches sport as well. In Malaysia, we have this problem whereby we don't really have like consistent uh, uh, production, if you will. Production is, I don't know if that's the right word, but a consistent supply of championship athletes. Right, like for example, like in badminton, we had Lee Chong Wei, then we had to wait for a while. Now we have Li Zijia, but that's we don't know what's happening there. It's the same thing in squash. We had Nicole David, and then now you. And this was also brought up by YB Hannah Yo. She said recently that she wanted to create a sort of infrastructure that creates more athletes. Like in terms of like if like you look at China, for example, like in badminton, they have top players coming out like on a weekly basis. For like So, in terms of your experience training in the US and all that compared to Malaysia, like what do you think we should be doing in order to generate more athletes who of your caliber?
Um, obviously, first of all, it comes from the player itself, right? Obviously, if they want to do it or not. But I think another aspect is obviously how much the parents are willing to put the effort as well, because these players are going to start from young, and like if you're not
Mm,
getting a good guidance, a good path, towards doing professional sports, I think it's tough. But obviously, it comes from the parents and squash coaches and like coaches and stuff. So I think that's where we're lacking, and I feel like in Malaysia, you don't like once you finish SPM or your education, you're like, oh, I'm just gonna do full time sports. But I think you're not mature enough to do that. I feel like maybe parents should expose to them of playing sports professionally, but also study and like maybe play in the college. Because I did that. I played for my college as well, and like tried to gain more exposure. And you tend to gain more exposure, and I think that's the best way to kind of open up your mind for the sport.
mm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Fantastic advice. Uh, Now, living in the US, I know you're homesick, and we all miss you as well. We hope you come back soon. I don't know whether it's creepy for me saying that I just
Yeah.
met you, but but anyway, what's it like different? I mean, I've never been to the US. How's it like living in the US compared to Malaysia?
I still like Malaysia.
No, of
It's
course, we rule. But
yeah.
in terms of
I would
lifestyle
go home any
differences,
time of the day. I'm actually in New York. But again, the suburb of New York. I live nearer to Canada actually, and I do go to New York City at times whenever I want the weekend away and things like that. But it's a different culture. It's definitely a different culture. Yeah, I didn't get any culture shock, but some of my friends did. From Malaysia, some of them who are here did get culture shock, but yeah, I don't think it's meant for me. I don't think this culture is meant for me, and I would definitely just go home.
so when can we expect you back?
I don't know. Maybe I actually don't know. I don't have any plans because I came back before the London Classic for a couple of days. I think for maybe
Okay,
12
okay,
days
so
or
you're back.
something. But maybe once the season ends, I might come home for a bit and
Yeah. The when I watch tournaments, of course, I'm not. To be very honest with you, I'm not as big a squash fan as I am badminton or football. That these are my orders. But now I'll be watching more intently. I promise you, squash. Right? But in every tournament, right, I always notice this, right? And I was always been curious. Like players, like you guys deal with games on very, I mean, frequently, right? The gaps in between the games are so small and so short, right?
Hmm.
How do y'all recover? Like after
Um,
one game, especially those grueling games, those 5 sets or whatever, how do you recover after that and then go back to the next game?
we have I think 2 minutes break in between each sets. So
No, no, I
obviously
mean after like that game itself,
after a
like
big
like
match,
after
after like that match and then a next match you're
that match.
playing.
Yeah, sorry, that match. Yeah.
Normally we play one match a day. So um obviously if your match is very long, like somehow you need to hydrate yourself a lot, you need to have good food and try to see the physio or get some recovery done. But at the end of the day, it's how much work you've put in the past couple of months that's going to help you out at that point of time, because if you're not fit
Oh,
enough, the
really?
next day you're still going to be sore. So
Okay.
the next day you're still going to be sore, you're going to be tired, you're going to be fatigued. But if you're doing this every day in your training, like you're pushing every day, every single session, like you're playing long matches, long training hours, and the next day you're still coming, turning up and doing the same thing every day, you somehow your body get used to that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think yeah, if you like maybe give me 2 years or 3 years ago, if you asked me to play a long match today and then the next day you asked me to back it up with another long match and like try to win it, I don't think I would do it. But
Mm.
yeah, I think it's more of the training hours you put. And yeah, obviously during tournament times it depends on your hydration. You need to hydrate yourself well, eat well, and rest well. But other than that, it's
Okay.
the process
The
towards the
process.
tournament. Yeah.
I'm just curious. We of course know the highlights about your career. We know that you've broken records, you've made history in even in the past. But what are some of the low points, like the ones that were tough to get through, besides the accident, of course?
Yeah. um I think when I was maybe 15 or 16, like, those are the times where I really want to do well and I want to, be somebody and stuff like that, because I think those are the turning points where you're trying to, go junior to senior. But yeah, at that point, I think I lost in the MSSM semifinal match or something. And yeah, I was very down. I told my parents, I want to quit this. I don't want to do this anymore. It's too stressful and things like that. But somehow I still continued playing. It's just that moment, that phase. Other than that, yeah, college, my freshman year in the US, was tough. It was tough to deal with the changes and being away from home and trying to just manage this university life. It's a complete different life. And yeah, even that point of time, it was I thought of just letting squash go and just play for college. And
Really?
yeah, yeah, it was tough. It was very tough letting squash go and play for college. But yeah, somehow I was like, screw it, I need to do this, and I just continued.
Nice, man. My God,
Yeah,
sounds really tough and challenging at some points. Yeah, fantastic
yeah,
story.
yeah.
Now, the thing about you is, and of course, my channel that I wouldn't even call it a channel, but a thing that I do, I make it sound like it's CNN or something. But the thing, but my thing is that a lot of people, my followers are mostly Indian, and of course, we were so proud to see you because being an Indian as well. And but you come from Sungai Petani, Kedah. Again, I'm not saying anything bad about Sungai Petani, but I've been there. So it's a nice place,
Yeah.
beautiful place. Yeah, but the thing about your success is I think it has the potential of inspiring a lot of younger girls as well coming up in the sport, to look at sports as something, as a career option to better themselves, right? So my question is, what advice would you give the young girls who are growing up, who are seeing you now, may not even be in the sport yet, but in life generally? What should they do to sort of like achieve whatever it is that they want to achieve?
Yeah, I mean, I think what I would say is just try to put your goals, try to write down your goals, you know t- in whichever field you want to succeed in, right? You have to have goals, you have to have something that you want to work towards. And for me, when you're young, you don't do that, because obviously sometimes you don't even know what you want to do in life, right? So maybe
Yeah,
write
yeah.
small goals, like even small goals, like what results you want to get in your UPSR and things, or whichever exams and stuff like that, right? So I think that's important in life. And also try to like enjoy what you're doing. Don't get forced by parents, or if your siblings doing, your brother's doing something, you need to do it as well. Like if you don't like it, just be honest and open up, and maybe you can find your passion in something else. So
Mm.
um and always just move forward, like there's a lot more in life to experience. So yeah.
So I'm just curious, since you mentioned parents, being an Indian as well, were you stressed to become either a doctor, lawyer, or an accountant? Or
I mean, my brother's an engineer, so that's ticked. So that's good. he's
so
he's ticked the
he's
box.
covered.
I'm
He's
not
checked the
doing
box.
that. Yeah. When I was younger, my
Okay.
ambition was to be a doctor. So, but
Oh,
yeah,
really?
not anymore. Not anymore. It's just an Indian family thing.
Okay, man.
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure speaking to you, Shish. I mean, I'm so proud of you, and the whole country is so proud of you, and
Thank you so much.
we hope to see you coming back soon and winning Egypt as well, and
Hopefully.
then soon. Yeah, so and of course the Olympic goal. I can't wait to see you win it. And so I always do this to my guests. So before we end the interview, maybe a closing remark from you.
Yeah, I mean, thank you so much for having me. I don't think I've really spoke in a podcast before. Maybe a squash podcast, but nothing out of it. So it's nice to be in this. And yeah, I think all the Malaysian supporters keep supporting all the athletes. Don't just say all these negative comments when we lose. A lot of athletes are going through a lot of things as well behind the scenes. So just keep supporting us, keep giving you your support. And yeah, we always do our best in wherever we go.
But sorry, you mentioned something there which is like a nugget of is this an issue among the athlete fraternity, like Malaysians saying negative things about them?
I mean, not really in squash. I've seen a lot of sports, not just in Malaysia. I think everywhere around the world, I've seen squash players getting criticism from people and stuff like that. At the end of the day, we're also human being, right? We're just
Yeah, yeah,
because we are on social media, just because we're out there, like doesn't mean you can just attack us. We're trying to do our best here. It's not like we're playing to lose, or we're playing to get all this comments. So for me, it's just more of trying to lift up others and be as positive as you can, and just keep supporting us.
but it is interesting thing though, right? I mean, it's interesting that you bring that up as well, because I think like in football now, that's a big problem. I noticed, like the amount of hatred on social media just after
Yeah,
one bad game, right?
yeah.
Like how does, I mean, how do you think these athletes, or how would you deal with such a thing?
It's tough for me. I obviously I don't try to associate with social media as much. I try to
Mm,
ignore, and obviously it gets in your mind a lot. And I've seen during the Asian Games when the hockey players lost and didn't qualify for the Olympics. I think they're supposed to be winning, but somehow lost in the early rounds, and it was tough to see them. Like they got social media, like everyone was just giving so much of bad comments. And
mm,
like as I said, everyone's just trying their best out there. Like you can go to a 9 to 5 job and you're screwing up, but no one's commenting anything, which is unfair, right? So like for us as well, we are putting in so much of effort and trying to do for our country, but then again, no one really sees the scene behind it. So that's why I say,
mm.
like, just try to support us. Yeah.
So uh, it sounds like as an athlete, then the best thing to do would be to not have a phone and not be on social media at all. Otherwise, it can be such a distractive thing, right?
Yeah, it's tough. It's a balance, I think. Obviously during tournaments you try to reduce as much social medias. I mean, even badminton players, you see, I think you've seen a lot of articles and stuff like that. Good that
Yeah.
squash don't have as much yet. Hopefully,
Mm.
nothing will come up. But
But with you winning, I think more and more will come.
no, but yeah, we try to just avoid all those things. And again, it's more of the mental game again. It's about how you're trying to control your mental aspect. And yeah.
It's crazy. I mean, I honestly, as a kid, never ever would I have believed that the mental aspect of sports is so important. Because when
Yeah,
you grow up, you just think it's all about physical endurance, which is important. But it sounds like the
exactly.
mental part is the key, man. It's the key.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's tough. Like, for example, you're having a job from 9 to 5. Like, even you feel absolutely like shit. Like, you're not feeling good, or you had a breakup or whatever. You're still going to turn up for your job. Okay, you're turning up and you're clocking in, clocking out, right? Like, for example, but like for an athlete, like it's not a clock in, clock out. It's on you if you're going to do it. It's self discipline that you want to give your 100% each training session, each matches, and if you're not mentally there, like it's tough to be there. Yeah.
And I guess you're right. It's all up to you. So like it's not like a 9 to 5 where you can sort of
No.
share
Yeah.
the blame with someone else. It's all
Yeah.
you on the
It's
court,
all,
in the ring,
yeah.
whatever. Yeah.
And the end of the day, the end results is on you as well. Like, if you're not going to put the effort, you're not going to get the, the results you want to. So
Yeah, my goodness, yeah. So, but don't, but I've searched online. I think when it comes to you, it's all good, and let's hope it stays that way.
yeah.
No, but really, I wish you the best, and really thank you for agreeing to doing this and coming on. It's been really a pleasure. I mean, I all of us been in my family been talking about you as well, and the entire community as well. We and of course, please come back soon and do like a small roadshow. Come to KL, maybe we can come to your mall or something where you are at and meet or something. Yeah, I wish you all
Yeah.
the best in Egypt.
Thank you
So,
so much.
but how many tournaments do you have slated this year?
Um, I mean, my season ends in June, so I have three more professional tournaments till beginning June. Then I have another one in Hong Kong, which is a championship. But yeah, then after that, the summer training till like end of August. I have like two months ish break, but it's more of just
Okay.
like training block. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm.
And when it is the traveling part nice, or is it just it can be another pain?
I think it's another pain. I think everyone from outside say, "Oh my God, you guys are traveling all over the world and things like that."
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
yeah, I mean, I came back from London maybe what 10 days ago, but I'm traveling to Egypt again next week, so it's also long hours flight with time differences and things like that. I don't think I enjoy it personally. It takes a lot on your body, it's very tiring, but yeah, something that I need to do in order to play tournaments, so gotta sacrifice that as
Yeah,
well. Yeah.
yeah. But please make the long flight back to Malaysia. But
Sure,
till
sure,
then,
I will.
till then, all the best to you, and
Thank
thank you
you.
again for joining the podcast. And
Thank you
we'll be
so much.
watching your journey very closely. Take care.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks. Yeah. Thanks. All right, guys. So that was my chat with Miss Sivasangari. Honestly, such a inspiring individual, strong mental ethic, amazing performer on the court, and we wish her all the best. She has tournament coming on Egypt, as she has said, and I'm sure many other tournaments. And we look forward to her winning the first Malaysian gold in the 2028 Olympics. Thank you so much for joining. Till next time, guys. Always share, subscribe. If you want to share your comments, have questions for Sivasangari as well, please share in the comments. We will share it with her, and hopefully she responds back if she's when she's not too busy winning gold medals and winning championships. But till next time, guys, as always, stay tuned and we'll catch you again soon. Bye bye.